morning, Dr. Brett Holzbus, chiropractor here from Holzbus Rockford Chiropractic. Today I'm coming at you live and we are talking about how to keep your disc healthy. I get asked all the time, how do I keep my disc healthy? I want to keep arthritis at bay. What are some healthy ways of doing that? What's some of the keys that a chiropractor might know that nobody else is telling me? Well, first of all, let me start off by saying something. I'm in a unique situation where my clinic started in 1949 by my grandfather. He started down the clinic next door and then the community next door, but this was the second off. This is the next office. This is the oldest building that we have. And when he was down in Byron, when he first opened in Rockford, a lot of the Byron people stayed here in Rockford. So we've had patients that have been started with my family, back in the 50s and the 60s that are still coming today. So when I talk to you today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about stuff we've seen in them because obviously they've gotten older and it's really neat to watch this. How do you keep arthritis at bay? How do you keep your disc healthy? Well, let's talk about the disc first. The disc is like a jello sac in between the two vertebrae. And the disc is really important when it comes to chiropractic and neurology because there's a hole on the side of the vertebrae where the nerve comes out. And a bulk of that height of that hole where that nerve comes out is made up of that disc. So when you lose that disc, that hole definitely reduces in size and the stress levels go up dramatically. So that's why the disc is so important when it comes to neurology. But how do we keep our disc healthy? Well, let's talk about the disc. The disc has very little blood supply going directly to it. There's no nutrients coming in or going out on its own. You see, genetically speaking, as human beings, we are all hunters and gatherers. We're designed to be up, walking around, walking the earth, picking vegetables, picking some fruit, killing some small animals, and avoiding very large animals. That's how we're designed. And so if your back needed time to heal and you had to sit still, the animals would find you. You would become their food. Okay. So what happens is we're designed to heal on the go. So when you walk, the muscles around your spine, they contract. When they contract, they push nutrients into your joint spaces and they pull toxins out. So this is why they get you up walking around. This is why chiropractors have always gotten you up and get you walking around right away, at least since the 60s when we learned this information. But today, if you go have a hip replacement, you go have another surgery, the orthopedic guys now also have figured out they've got to get you up moving around right away in order to get that healing process started. So when you get up and you walk, the muscles contract and they push the nutrients in and pull the toxins out. This is very, very important to help the spine heal. I often tease who has more arthritis, the guy that operates the big jackhammer and bounces all day on it, or the person who does all the scheduling who sits behind a desk all day. Well, typically it's the one behind the desk all day. Now, don't get me wrong. The guy with the jackhammer has issues and needs to see a chiropractor for too. But the person that does all the scheduling for the jackhammer guy, that person usually has more arthritis than the other person that's sitting all day. This is why I have many videos and many times you've heard me to talk about going for a 30-minute walk a day. 30-minute walk is vital. And not just being on your feet. A lot of people say, Dr. Alsobus, I don't need to go for a 30-minute walk. I'm on my feet all day. I'm on my feet all day too, going patient to patient, but that's not walking. Going for a walk is different because when you go for a walk, the muscles warm up, they get flowing, the juices get flowing, literally because you're pushing stuff in the disc space, pulling stuff out. Walking from point A, stopping, going to point B, stopping, going to point C, stopping, back to point A, and stopping is not the same as going for a walk. Now, today here, we live in Rockford, Illinois, and we have a whole bunch of snow coming down. So it's not really safe to be out walking around outside. So how do you make it up? Well, go to one of those big box stores, go to the grocery store, do a lap around the store first before you actually shop. Go to a health club, just go on the treadmill and walk for 30 minutes. I don't need you to run for 30 minutes. I mean, it's better, but go for a 30-minute walk on the treadmill. If you're at home and you maybe have knee or hip problems, I love recumbent stationary bicycles, the ones where your feet are out in front of you. So if your feet are out in front of you and you're pedaling, you're not putting any pressure on your lower back when you're doing this. You're not irritating your knees when you do this, but it mimics the muscles for walking and helps you out. So get a stationary recumbent bicycle. You'll see them on sale all the time in garage sales and places like that. Buy one of those, put that in your living room, and when you watch TV, just sit there and move your feet like you're walking. You don't have to earn a sweat. Just do the walking action on the bicycle and get those juices flowing, get those muscles contracting, mimic that. So that's how why walking is so important for your disc space and this and that. Now, as chiropractors, what we know when you have two vertebrae that are misaligned, what we like to call here subluxation, they're misaligned, they're fixated, they're not moving right. And then what happens is they get stressed and the body recognizes the stress and they say, okay, we're not going to let you move anymore so you can't hurt us anymore. But now even when you walk, those two aren't moving and that one disc suffers. A lot of times I'll x-ray somebody and I'll say, look at right here, you have bad disc. That's bad. It's got some degeneration going on. We need to take care of that. And I'm often told by the patient or the patient's some other doctor told the patient, well, that's because of old age. I hear that all the time. Well, doc, I'm 65 years old. What do you expect? Well, I expect it to look as healthy as the ones above and below it. I mean, if only one of them's having this going on, then we know that one's fixated. That one has a subluxation. That one needs a chiropractic adjustment to free it up and help it move again. That's what's happening there. That's why that one is doing that, not the rest of them. I was always told, aren't they all the same age? How could you only have one get arthritic and the rest of them not if they're all the same age and it's because of age? So the age thing that's a cop out. That's a I don't know why it happened answer. But as chiropractors, we know why that happened. There was either an old injury there or something happened there, and that two vertebrae got what we call subluxated, where they got stuck and the body froze them so that you couldn't hurt it anymore. As a chiropractor, our job is to go in there and free that up, make it move again, get rid of those adhesions, and then work with the vertebrae above and below that might be adding torque to that one and keeping it fixated. That's why we look at the whole spine, not just the one level. That way, if we fix them all, get the whole spine working again. It's all one big joint. So if you're worried about arthritis, an x-ray of your spine is the only way to tell if you have arthritis in your spine. I've had people come in and tell me that I'm told I have arthritis on my spine. I said, well, cool. Let me see the x-rays. Let me see the MRI and the scans, the images, and they don't have any. I said, well, how do you know you have arthritis in your spine if you can't see it? Arthritis in the spine is really obvious. First step, you lose your disc height. That disc dehydrates. That's why we're talking about keeping that disc hydrated. The next thing that happens is as that disc dehydrates, there's more friction, there's more irritation, and the body starts putting down bony spurs, calcium growths. These are what I like to call them bony calluses, kind of like on the ends of the vertebrae. And we see that in X-ray more than anywhere else than an X-ray because it's extra calcium, it's extra dense. So when we shoot the X-ray, it'll be extra white in those areas. That's what the X-ray does. That's what it picks up. It's real obvious to us of some severe degeneration. So we can see early and late stages on an X-ray. Very, very important. Now, what can you do about a thin disc? Well, we can definitely bring a thin disc back to life. We can definitely do some chiropractic adjustments, free it up, teach you how to exercise and stretch it. Here's the secret. Exercise is just going for a walk or walking. So that's all it comes down to. So go for more walks. So right now, if you want to know what you can do without coming into the chiropractor to get better, start walking. But remember, if they're stuck or they're fixated, they're locked up, the walking is going to help a little bit. But if getting an adjustment there, freeing it up, you're going to get maximum benefit for what you're doing. Getting that chiropractic adjustment first is huge before you start the walking exercise. So let's recap. You have a disc. The disc is made up of mostly water. When the vertebrae fixate or get locked, or what we call subluxated, they'll stop moving. When they stop moving, the muscles around there that are vital for pushing nutrients in and pulling toxins out no longer work because it's fixated. It's locked. So what we have to do is we have to unlock the vertebrae and make it so it moves again. Once it moves again, once it's freed again, then what you need to do is you have to walk. You have to go for long walks to free this up. When you go for your long walks, you push the nutrients in there, you pull the toxins out, the disc will rehydrate. That little hole where the nerve comes out of will go from being this little teeny to regaining a lot of its height, making that nerve happy again, making wherever that nerve goes, that body part happy again. And that's kind of how we work on these discs and try to keep the arthritis away. Again, I'm lucky. I've got people that started here with my grandpa in their 20s, and now they're seeing me in their 90s, and they have no arthritis in their spine. So a lot of times I see a new chiropractor that's get adjusted every month. You won't get arthritis in your spine. We actually have those patients if you'd like to meet them. They'd love to meet you. They love talking about it. They love talking about the success they had with their spine and their chiropractic care. All right, so this is called Ask the Chiropractor. If you have a question about chiropractic, you want to know how chiropractic works, ask a chiropractor. A lot of times we see video clips where they show a neat thing about chiropractic care. They say, check with your family doctor first. Phooey. Medical doctor doesn't know what chiropractors do. If you want to have a question about a chiropractor, you ask a chiropractor. If you have a question about your teeth, you don't ask a podiatrist, you ask a dentist. If you have questions about your feet, you don't ask a dentist, you ask a podiatrist. So if you have a question about chiropractic, you'd like to know the answer, submit it here. You can find us. I don't know how you're listening to me or watching me, but different ways you can find us is we do this every Monday morning live on Facebook and YouTube. We also do this. We turn this into a a podcast. You can download the podcast right now. I'm on all platforms, but I'm still trying to get on Apple. So hopefully soon on Apple, but everywhere else, Spotify, everywhere else you get podcasts, we're there. We also put us on so Facebook, YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn. And if you want to go back and find a different question, maybe I've already answered, go to our website, go to rockforddc.com, go to where it says blog, there's a search button. You can type in a topic. You can see where I've written up on these and share these videos there too. So if you have a question for the chiropractor you'd like to see me answer next time, leave a comment below, shoot us an email, go to the website to contact us. Wherever you're finding this, leave us a comment or message and ask your question. And maybe next week, you'll be the topic and ask the chiropractor. Till then, stay healthy, stay strong, and we're here for you if you need us. Talk to you later.